Hey, hola, welcome back to the channel. Lost Canuck here, and well, on today's video, we're gonna make some country style ribs. What are country style ribs, Lost Canuck? Well, there's no bones in them, okay, first of all. And I have this leftover pork shoulder that I did from when I made the El Pastor tacos. And if you haven't seen that video, check it out if you like tacos. It's awesome. So I'm going to take this pork shoulder and cut it up, and we're just going to make simple, super easy country style ribs. Something that many of you grew up on as a kid, and it's so easy to make. All right, so, and hey, if you like anything I used in this video, like my cutting board, knives, any of that stuff, check out my Amazon store in the link below. Anything helps me out, helps the channel out to actually grow. Or if you want to buy me a beer or something like that, there's a super thanks button down below that you can hit, donate to the channel. So, anyway, so we're going to take this pork shoulder and turn it into this. Stay tuned. And for my Hispanic viewers, a mis amigos que hablan español, los subtítulos debajo. And for my Hindi friends, Nietzsche subtitles. All right, so let's roll that intro. All right, so basically we're just going to cut this into strips, probably cut it in half this way. Now this is from Costco. It's a deboned. You can see where the bone, pork shoulder bone, used to be. Now typically when I do pulled pork and stuff like that, leave the bone in because that's the better way to do it. Now this end's a little frozen, so we'll see if it cuts. Oh yeah, the old Wusthof will go right through that like butter. Okay, so what we're going to do is cut them like that. This is I just wanted to square it up, so this is kind of a smaller one. Okay, so there's a couple ribs. So here's the main part. So we're going to cut them about 1.5 inches or so thick. So I like thick ones, thick ribs. Okay, so you can see I got 1.5 inches thick. What we'll do is we will cut it in half this way, like that, and we will cut it this way. So we're just going to make like riblets, basically. And hey, you can cut this into pieces any size you want. I'm just this is the style that I like. You may not like this style, so cut them thinner or thicker depending on your preference. Hey, and I'm not a professional butcher, so Billy, if you're watching this video, I apologize to all butchers out there. Okay, now if you've got a grinder at home, kind of like the Meet Your Maker one down in the description, you can take this and you can grind sausage or whatever you want. It works out really well. Pork shoulder is really a forgiving meat. All right, so when they boned this, they didn't do a really good job. Well, they got the bone out nicely, but they kind of scrapped. Cut in chunks that resemble sort of ribs, but these aren't ribs. Okay. Alright, so out of probably 6 pounds, I maybe got, there's a pound of scrap there, so I'm not going to grind this. Okay, so our next step is we're going to season these, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use my SuckleBusters Hog Waller for about half of them. This is a nice rub. It's really good. And then I've got some Meat Church Holy Gospel. That's another good one too. This one's got a little pepper in it, but it's not bad. And what we're going to use for binder is old-fashioned mustard. Okay, so I'm going to get it all bound up, and then put the binder on, half and half. So here we go. All right, so now that you've got your pieces cut into riblets, let's get them seasoned. We're going to leave everything in the in my Drip Easy prep board or tub. It converts. And then typically I like to leave these overnight and dry brine them. I don't have time today, so I'll probably leave them in the fridge for about 5 hours. I'll leave them dry brine for 5 hours. That should give enough time for the rub to soak in a little bit. So I'm going to put half over here and half on the other side. And this is nothing, not fancy mustard or anything. This is the kind that you grew up with, just yellow, plain old mustard you put on hot dogs. Because nobody puts ketchup on hot dogs. Or do they? Leave me a comment below if you put ketchup on your hot dog. Not that I care. I don't care. Some people really care. Especially if you're from around Chicago. And this you won't taste. You won't taste the mustard, so don't worry about it. This is just to hold the rub. Once you get this thing cooking, you don't taste nothing of it. It's just there to help. You know, there's vinegar in the mustard, so actually it'll help break down the connective tissues between the myelin there and the muscle. And we used to use a lot of vinegars back at some of the companies I used to work at to help season, let's say, meat. Okay, for the Holy Gospel. Okay, so look, we're going to put Holy Gospel on the left side. You can see it's got some pepper flakes in it, but it's not too spicy. And again, I love these Drip Easy tubs for prep because they just make your life and cleanup so much easier. Okay, so we're going to pat that all in there like that, flip them, and then probably roll them around a little more. Try and get everything on every surface. Oh, and did I mention we're going to run this on the Lone Star Grillz 42-inch pellet smoker. I'm going to load that up with smoking pecan pellets, which pairs nicely with pork. Those things are the smokiest pellets. Look, even if you don't have a Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker, buy those, you know, and if you want extra smoke, try those pellets. I strongly, look, you can fight me about it later. I strongly suggest those pellets for more smoke, even if you got like a, I don't know, you got a Traeger or a Green Mountain or a Grilla or whatever you got, or a Pits and Spits, whatever. Try them. Try those pellets. I'm not being paid. I am, everything I do is with my own money. That's why I'm asking you to check out my store. So I buy everything myself. But check out the smoking pecan pellets, okay? If you want more smoke, that's all I'm going to say. I got a link to them down in my Amazon store. Check it out. Even if you don't use the link, you'll be super happy, okay? All right, so now this is the SuckleBusters Hog Waller. We're going to put it on these. Now, there might be some cross-contamination, but I don't think at the end of the day people are going to complain too much. This is a lighter colored rub. These, at the end of the smoke, will be braised in an aluminum pan. So we got this side is the SuckleBusters. I'll put the rub in front of it. and this side is the Meat Church Holy Gospel. Okay, so now it's time to put this in the fridge, let everything soak in. It's called dry brining. We're going to dry brine this for about 5 hours before we throw it onto the Lone Star Grillz 42-inch with smoking pecan pellets. And again, I'm not sponsored. Nobody's given me any money or any free stuff. This is just all my opinion. All right, I'll see you down at the pit. Hey, it's the Lost Canuck. Well, down at the pit, let the country style ribs dry brine for a few hours. They've been in the fridge. Got the pit all preheated to 250. I'm going to leave it in smoke for a couple hours. Then I'll probably crank up the temperature. Well, probably 250 for the first hour, then maybe 275, 300 for the rest of the cook. These aren't really big chunks of meat. So I got the pellet hopper all loaded up with smoking pecan pellets. These really smoke. So there's some good smoke coming out of the stack right now. Anyways, let's get these things on, get them into the smoke, and get them cooking. Just gonna put some temperature probes in there just to make sure everybody's food safe. After they hit 165, I'm gonna put them in a pan. And of course, we're gonna try all 3 temp probes. See put them in some really fat pieces. There's a big one. Now, do you have to do this? No. And then finally, my fireboard pulse. So they're all relatively close to each other. And I'll just put the rest on. So these go here. The thinner guys I'll put down at the stack end where it's cooler. They're all on and we're smoking, and well, the temperature's dropped off a bit, so I can see my fireboard probes already in there. It says it's 42. My combustion ink probe is 39, and I'll have to look on my app to see what the RFX is. Okay, so I'm going to just leave her bathe in the smoke for about 2 hours, maybe 3 tops, 2 for sure. I'm going to adjust the temperatures up and down as we go, as my internal thermometers tell me, and then it'll be time to put them in a foil pan and finish them off. I'll see you when it's time to put them in the pan. Hey, well, we're into phase 2 now. It's your friendly neighborhood Lost Canuck. Internal temperatures they're cruising up to 164 or 164. Everything's about 164. So we're in the 160s, which is a good thing. So for part 2, we're going to take our country style ribs off the smoke, put them in this foil pan with some butter, barbecue, your favorite barbecue sauce. I happen to have Meat Mitch, and we're going to go from there. So let's get these into the pan. They're pretty smoky, so we'll just get these into the pan. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this up to 300, get that heated up. We're going to get our butter on the country style ribs. I just used a harp slicer and cut up a bunch. Looks like cheese. It does look like cheese a bit, doesn't it? It's going to melt into everything anyway, so it doesn't have to be pretty. I'm making it look a little pretty. Alright, so that was about 2 sticks of butter. Maybe 3. So now that we got our butter, we're going to take our sauce. Nope, get away from there. I'm just going to douse our ribs, country style ribs, with sauce. Oh, I guess I should have told you what I'm using. Using Meat Mitch's, one of my favorites. This is the naked sauce. It's pretty good. Alright, so this will braise out in its own, in the butter and the juices and the sauce. We'll get this covered up. I always have to use 2 sheets because this is the thinner stuff, or the narrower stuff, I guess I should say. Alright, so we got our foil in our foil pan. Now we're going to put this back on at 300. We're going to let this ride for another hour and a half and it should be all done and we'll be ready to serve. So next time I see you, it'll be up at the cutting board. So I'll see you up there. Yeah, hey, it's the Lost Canuck. Promised I'd come back and finish off the video. So look, we got a whole pan of country style ribs there. They've reached the internal of 205, fully cooked. They were smoked for a couple hours. Whew, they're hot by the touch. So what do you say we cut into one of these things and see what it's like? It's very tender. Oh yeah, this even has a smoke ring on it and it wasn't even on there that long. You see that? It's pretty nice. Okay, well, let's cut out, open another one. Let's see if it wasn't a fluke. Oh yeah, these are well smoked. The smoking pecan pellets did a nice job. Okay, so now that we've got them cut open, these are super hot. Let me try a piece. See if this was worthwhile. Again, just pork shoulder, country style. Very yummy. You can put your own sauce on if you like. It's tender, it's very juicy. You could see it when I cut it. Final thoughts. If you're wondering what to do with a pork shoulder you have in your freezer, pork shoulders are cheap. They're like $2.29 a pound. They were on sale at my local grocery store for $1.58 a pound. Super easy way to make some fake ribs, country style ribs. Anyways, final thoughts are well worth it. It's going to go into the summer rotation. Hey, and if you liked the video or liked anything that you saw, speaking of summer, Father's Day is coming up. A lot of this stuff makes great gifts. Cutting boards, knives, anything like that. And if you know a father that likes to grill, it makes great gifts. So check out my Amazon store below. I think you've heard me say that before. Anyways, and that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for hitting the notify me bell. Hey, and if you want, please share this video with people that would like to make some country style ribs. Now, look, you don't need a smoker. You can do this in your oven. You can do this on a propane grill. You can do this on anything. It's super simple to do. Alright, so if you like this video, I've got some other content here I'm going to put up in a second. Check out some of my other content. Helps the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Lost Canuck says be kind to each other. Bye-bye.